Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. And welcome to this week's Fireside. Give me 1 second. Sorry, folks. We're having technical difficulties. All right. Okay, sorry. I'm still struggling. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we should be good now. Welcome, everyone, to Fireside. Apologies for the delay here. So, if you're new, our Discord is where everything happens. So, please scan the QR code and join our community. And if you're interested in real time video AI, Daydream is where you should be looking. If you're a builder, there's an API as well as an application where you can play around with real time video AI. And there's also a community exploring this cutting edge technology. Right, for some community updates. So we have a increase about 20% of on-chain fees at $15,967 for last week. Additionally, we have officially hit 51% participation on the network, and that is an all-time high since December of 2022. So congratulations to orchestrators and delegators for getting that number so high. Let's see if we can get it even higher. And that means our inflation rate on the network is ticking down slowly. So yeah, super, super happy that we are in now that environment where the inflation is ticking down. All right, next slide. Okay, so we have a short agenda today. We only have the Embody network, Define and Dane giving us an update. So we will get into it and bring Define to the stage first. Hello, friend.
Hello, Anne. Thank you for hosting us, and hello, everyone.
All right, I'll let you get into it.
Absolutely. Should we get the first slide rolling? Perfect. So today is a great opportunity to present the assessment of the incentive program that Embody is being running. And they're going to start with what, in the spirit of full transparency, what is the program and what we as Embody and what the Embody network gets. Next slide, please. The incentives program was created to find and validate profitable user cases, specifically in the VTubing avatar, real-time avatar AI space. And to make sure that the program will be able to assume its scope, its target, we banned all the participants either from the previous team or from the current team that they are orchestrators to participate in the program. We tested different financial incentives model and payment systems, and we tried to find what is the best suitable incentives for orchestrators that balance the business side and the orchestrator inference provider side as well. So for full transparency, the program is managed from our Delaware company. What we are getting from the program is that we are able to provide our services in very cheap and incentivize our expenses to basically be zero for all the avatar expenses and many AI relevant expenses. And in return, we create the pipeline, which is open source, and many other open source components, and we also manage the program. And everything that is not right now open source, it will become open source once we launch our tokenized network at the first quarter of 2026. Uh, so these are some information about the whole program as a whole, and we're gonna now proceed to the assessment of the program. Next slide, please. So basically, the previous run of the program, the previous phases, they were separated as follows. The first phase was without orchestrator partners, just to validate that the bring your container pipeline works, that you can cut bring your container tickets and you can bring that functionality into the program. That had a short duration, it validated all its targets, and all the spent Ethereum was returned with a small uptake, so we return more than we spend actually back to the incentives wallet. The second phase was bring your own container, and it was a stage where we tested what actually the container was going to look like, how you're going to do the GPU checks, the VRAM checks, and gradually we rolled out the avatar. At the first weeks running this program, we didn't have the avatar. At the end of phase two, we put the avatar into the pipeline. And this program finished, the phase two, and then the phase three came, where we found that we had an issue with bring your container. There was also a bug and in the Livepeer Go, which I'm pretty sure now it's almost to be fixed, if not fixed yet. And there was also the way that we paid, like we wanted to pay amounts that they weren't, let's say, into the designer's mind when they did the the Livepeer Go architecture. So that finished as well. We entered the phase three with direct payments orchestrators, still guaranteeing that they are in the top 100 orchestrators, and this allowed us to be very flexible with how the payment system works. And next slide, please. And so what we learned from all these three phases, the first thing was that the continuous payment model, where you have the avatar or the container and you pay per health check, per X time health check, where you basically incentivize orchestrators to keep it up for extended periods of time, it wasn't the right system. It over incentivized orchestrators who participated into the phase two and phase three phases, and wasn't the right way of doing this. And the other thing was that there was also a lot of time spent on maintaining the program and debugging the pipeline instead of working on the product itself. We also found out that when we stopped in phase two the pipeline to do compliance checks without being required to necessarily do the compliance checks, but we wanted to have our minds in peace and be always ready, considering the nature of our business in Web3 and AI cutting fields, especially with when engineering with autonomous agent, we want to be ready for any compliance and any future checks. So we found out that thus that hurts retention. You do not need to stop the pipeline. We lost two orchestrators on phase two, which didn't return on phase three. We can still get them back, but this was a very useful thing for us to know. The other thing was that a lot of constant updates, they were also introducing update fatigue. Orchestrators were more comfortable with updating every 2 weeks or every 1 month. And another interesting thing was with the introduction of phase three, we were able um, to pay credited balances to orchestrators. So if the wallet wasn't topped up, their internal balances were accruing, and we're able to pay them once the wallet was topped up. This was done to mitigate any incoming penetration, malicious penetration testing, and attempts to draw the wallet. We want to validate that we didn't have any such occurrences. So it was really interesting on looking at that and seeing that system orchestrators were willing to do that and how that can evolve in future initiatives. Next slide, please. So yes, so we launched phase four in the previous week, and the changes from in this phase when compared to the previous one are the following. First of all, the pipeline was converted from continuous uh, uptime payments for uptime and keeping the avatar ready for use. It was converted to pay on demand. So the pipeline now will only pay if trackable, um, a useful workload that utilizes the avatar is being routed to the orchestrator. If the avatar is idle, there will be no payment for that. We still kept some of the continuous health check payments as a means to cover some of the electricity costs, but those were purposefully, for two reasons, were made less than the operational cost of the orchestrator. So the first reason was to conserve balance, and the second reason was to incentivize us to bring a product that can actually bring in more value that it pays on the incentives for the orchestrators. The another introduction was that initial daily payloads or in different times of the week. We haven't figured out yet if we want them to be daily or separated in different days of the week. Uh, those will be used to create an ELO reference system. For those who are not familiar with the ELO-based system, they're basically point tracking system that decide who is most suited for task, who has the most points, is basically has higher possibilities of receiving an actual real-time workload for someone who hasn't that high of elo. And to reconcile the difference between the older orchestrators who were over incentivized and the newer orchestrators who didn't have so much time in the system. The new orchestrators that will enter the system, they will have an immediate bump to their ELO rating as compared to the previous orchestrators, so that we are able to reconcile those discrepancies. So this is another change. All the future payments will be done through Bring Your Own Container. So we are completely returning to the micropayment system and Bring Your Own Container, as we said when we change the Bring Your Own Container to um, the payments backend, to the direct payments backend. This was a temporary change, so we're changing it. And also, instead of finishing the program at the end of the month, as it should have been, if it will still continue in the continuous payment model, we will assess the program once all the funds are finishing. For reference, we have about one third of the starting value still as a runaway, and this is projected to probably last for 2 months or more with the pay on demand conversion. So there's plenty of time to uh, do the best work we can and bring the best user cases that we can into the system. And so these are the phase for changes. Uh, Please, let's go to the next slide. And so right now, there are three things which we are focusing. The first thing is the distribution pipeline. So all of that needs to be automated from the moment that the video plan is created in JSON to the moment that it goes to the orchestrator, and it's being produced as a video, as a file, as a WebPM or MP4 file, and then goes to X, to TikTok, to all the media platforms. All of that is being automated right now. The second thing is the actual product. We want to show you a real-time product. We're using um, content creation workloads for create for pushing to the channels, getting some advertisement, and creating the Elo base that the real-time workloads will be distributed. Then we actually need to have at least one one real-time user case with text that can be easily configurable to change so that we can test different user cases if that is needed. And the third thing which we are working is the Bring Your Container update, which will merge our Web 2 payments logic with the Web 3 micropayments tickets, and will make sure that all the tickets will be paid with Bring Your Container. The direct payments are right now being paused, and all the accumulated balance will be paid uh, to the orchestrators once the Bring Your Container update is live. So these are the news regarding the program, the incentives program, and our work. Thank you, everyone, for supporting us. If you have any questions or you want any clarifications, please feel free to ask. We have posted all the on-chain accounting on GitHub and we have posted on Discord for everyone that want to check, and we will be updating it again once we find the chance.
Awesome. Great job. Is Dane going to be sharing as well?
Yes.
So yeah, Dane, if you can share your screen, and then we can bring you up on stage. Are just a quick question from me? Are you going to be adding? Are you going to be? You said phase 4. How long is phase 4 going to be lasting?
How much is the runaway gonna last?
Oh, I guess I mean like because I don't think you requested from the treasury. So for phase 4, like is that until end of year or beginning of next year?
We already have the runway for phase 4. Phase 4
Oh,
is active right now. We just haven't completed the distribution pipelines,
I
which are
see.
going to be completed in a couple tomorrow, most probably, but just let's leave a couple of days. So we already have the runway. The program will last till the runway is finished, and this was from feedback of orchestrators that they were talking and they were saying the continuous payments, they don't lead anywhere. We want to have a product that we know that it will succeed. If it spends on the network without bringing back value, without testing user cases, it's not useful. So
Right.
thank to Karlak for that particular feedback. It made us change the pipelines for the better.
All right. Well, I'll drop you down and we'll bring up Dan. Hi there.
Hello, how's it going? Is my volume okay?
Yeah, you sound great. Okay. I will let you just jump right into it.
Cool, yeah, so I've got a bunch of updates. It's kind of been a while since we've shown off the Embody product and everything that it has going for it. So there's a lot of updates to go over today. What you guys see here is the developer menu. This is going to be a lot different from the product that we released. This is just sort of like my own personal mod menu, but you can see that it's being the game is being output through the web browser, and this is being done over a WebRTC connection. So first thing that we'll jump into, I suppose, is the customization. There's a lot of stuff here, and we've gone over quite a bit of this already. So for now, we'll just start with the hair because this is what I have. Where's all my hairstyles? Anyways, we'll just do the hair attributes for now. So we can customize the hair attributes a lot more than just the base color. We can do melanin. We can add highlights and blend highlights into the hair. Let me see here. Maybe I need some ombre. Here we go. The settings can be a little bit tricky sometimes. And I'm doing a lot of experimental stuff with the hairstyles. But as you can see, people can sort of get a general idea of what they want to do with their hair while they're using the product, and maybe get some unique ideas for doing, different hairstyles and trying out different things. Here's the highlight system working a little bit. But yeah, so we've got the hairstyles. The hair's looking good. Obviously, we have the modular clothing and all the morph targets. Let's see here, the makeup. That's another thing that I wanted to go over. So now we can customize the makeup on our avatars. This is a little bit extreme, but we can modify the roughness, change the colors. Some of these sliders need to be updated, but we can do the eye makeup. Primary color and secondary color. And we can get really, really, really deep into the customization, obviously, because there's so much. You could sit here all day and do customization options. But we'll dive into the world builder next because it's kind of what I've been working on the most recently. And this system actually uses a procedural content generation system for creating multiple assets out of one asset. So with this rock, I have multiple rocks within that same actor, and I can create all kinds of stuff. So like if I add some logs onto the rock, I can add logs, I can add pebbles, I can add ferns, right? If I want it to have a bunch of ferns and be in the jungle. And the AI eventually is going to have access to all of these parameters that I'm messing around with here. And once it's been trained on the system, it's going to have some really, really intuitive world building abilities. And as you can see, we've got a really awesome AAA studio quality rock here with just a few clicks. And I can do a lot more with the background. I can create a sky, right? Maybe I want to move this rock over a little bit so it covers the background entirely. Maybe I want to like bring it down on the Z axis so it looks like almost like a cliff. And then, maybe I want to add some more assets. Maybe I want to add, something that I like to show off quite a bit is the portals. Portal's a little too big. Let's make it a little smaller. So as you can imagine, these agents are going to be able to do a lot, and this is sort of the entertainment path, or, the ability to generate loads of different content with just a few assets. You can see how the project is starting to go from things being done manually by hand for like everything to where now we're starting to get to the point where we have content being able to, like, all I've got to do is add references to a data table with more assets, and now this procedural content rock is going to be, a valley with grass and ferns and trees and portals and all sorts of different 3D models, or particle simulations, or characters, even maybe other metahumans can spawn into the world and walk around and talk to each other. And there's two different avenues that Embody is looking at, and obviously our bread and butter needs to be enterprise. So these portals and things like that, you probably won't see as much of. For enterprise, you're probably going to be seeing backrooms like this, an office setting, right? We're doing we have a changing room, right?
We
We
have a
can do
quick question
different
for you, Dane.
Yeah.
John is saying, "This is amazing, great work. Is there still a need? Is there still a need for a text to speech streaming feature? Can the avatar speak?"
Yes, they absolutely can. So we've also got her hooked up to OpenAI, and she can use the assistant feature and read your code and help you with documents and things like that. I've actually had her help me build some of the C++ plugins, which was really fun to do with her. So for example, in the content creator, you can tell her what to say. Like I can say hi, and it'll analyze the emotion in the text, and she'll say, "Hi, John." And that's sort of what Define has been super focused on, is building that content creator in the back end. So not with a UI, but on the back end, so people, including ourselves mainly, can have a boatload of content being generated 24/7, and then we as the people can sift through it and find the things that we like and post those and use them for advertisement and marketing and such. So it's a powerful tool, and there's still a lot of features that haven't been integrated to the front end. Like you can customize the clothing and put your own logos on the clothing, and you can do all these things. You can modify the UV maps and customize them really to a crazy amount. But I try to keep things simple and easy, and we're trying to keep our scope relatively narrow, because with game design, there's so many different things that you have to be aware of in terms of time. So real quick, I'll just show you guys that she's hooked up to OpenAI too. So I can say, like, tell me a story. And it'll take a second.
Also, we can't hear the audio on your end. I'm not sure if you're sharing it.
Let's see. It might be from... Oh, okay. Yeah, the audio was...
Okay, let me add it back up.
Jesus.
Okay, yeah, you want to try it again?
Hopefully the audio is playing this time. It should be. Oh, she doesn't have the memory right now.
My name is Elizabeth. Me know
Okay, now we can hear it.
I'll help
Cool.
however I can. Sure. Once, a shy coder named Maya built a tiny robot that could write jokes. When her robot unexpectedly won the school talent show, Mia learned that sometimes letting your quirk shine leads to the most amazing surprises. Want to hear a coding related story next?
So yeah, she can do anything that ChatGPT can do pretty much. Well, in terms of making API calls, obviously. And we've combined it with 11 Labs to give us that top of the line audio for text to speech and yeah, so crazy customization. I have more hairstyles as well. That's probably for some reason the signaling web server that I'm running right now isn't connected to the correct front end build. So I don't have the actual hairstyles. Maybe I'll post them in the Livepeer Discord at the end of this fireside and show a video of all the different hairstyles that Lucy has now, because I've spent the past like week implementing them, and there's like 30 new hairstyles that she can wear. So I'm pretty excited about that. The next thing to do is to get her texture resolutions bumped up from 4K to 8K. So she'll have more obvious pores, more freckles, you know, more lining on the lips, more definition in the body, and things like that. So really excited to be building this and continue polishing it, so that way it's really awesome when the time comes for the world to share it.
Awesome. Well, I mean, it's come so far. I remember in the beginning phases, so it's, I don't know, I'm like quite impressed. It feels, like you said, like enterprise, very professional. So again, hats off to you and DeFine for getting it this far. Any last thoughts, comments, maybe how you want to package it to sell to folks, or what that looks like?
Right. So we're trying to go with the enterprise solution first, where we allow people to utilize it for pre-interview screenings or you know, frequently asked question answering, and sort of different modules that enterprises can use to um, sort of help business solutions advance in their company at a more streamlined way. So that's pretty much what we're going for now. Um, and I think that after that happens and we've established ourselves there, then we can sort of focus on doing the fun things where we, you know, like make an actual game out of it, right?
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, it is a video game. I'm building it in Unreal Engine, the same way you would make any other game, and there's a lot of interesting things that you can do with that. But there's also a lot of interesting things that you can do on the enterprise side of things too. So
right. Awesome. And just a potential synergy. I know that Daydream, they're looking into real-time world generation. So potentially there might be some interesting collaboration that you can do on the Daydream front too, which I'm sure you're probably aware of already.
yeah, absolutely. The content creator has a Daydream AI plugin right now. It's broken. I've been messing around with a lot of other things and haven't really had time to get to it. But I posted in their Discord, and you can see Daydream working inside of Unreal Engine.
Very
It's
cool.
really
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for presenting, and definitely share the hairstyles in the server.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. All right. And that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you to Embody Network for sharing all the amazing updates. If you're interested in potentially purchasing from Embody, they are in our server, and you can talk about potentially the enterprise solutions that they are developing. But if you're interested generally in what we're doing here at Livepeer, you can scan this QR code and join our server. And of course, like I had mentioned, we have real-time video AI being developed over at Daydream. There's an API if you're a builder where you can integrate it with it, as Dane showed a little bit ago. So it's really exciting. That real-world generator is something that's going to be upcoming. So definitely jump into the server if you're interested in the cutting edge of real-time video AI. Daydream is the place to do that. All right, folks, we will catch you on the next Fireside. And if you're interested, we always have a weekly water cooler chat on Mondays. So jump into our server, register for that, and we will see you then. Bye, everybody.